All right, this is Mike and Sean back in with Talking Tickets. We're going to talk about some recent auction sales, my big card show pickup, and anything else we've missed out in the last couple weeks. All right, Sean, long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks, hasn't it? Sorry.
Yeah.
I have to apologize, and I'll take the blame for this. I've been moving, and I'm in this new place. You can tell by my background, and my internet's nice and clear. But it's been chaos here, just opening box after box after box, trying to get everything set up. And I have a 6-month-old, and I have a normal job and everything too. So it's been.
You got to make time for the tickets.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I've been kind of checked out the last couple of weeks.
Oh,
so
no.
you'll have to forgive me, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm glad we're getting back into it.
All right, so I got some things. You want to talk about my card show pickups, recent auction sales, upcoming auctions? What do you want to jump into?
Let's do the card show pickups. That's my favorite.
Right. So I was at the card show in Dallas the other day. This is a good one. I saw this guy. He's always there, and he always has some tickets, like, Super Bowl random stuff. I go, hey, you have any other tickets? He goes, well, actually, I had this huge box here of tickets that I've kept over the years. Are you interested? And I'm like, heck yeah, I'm interested. So he gives it to me, and it's full. I'm talking, let me see if I can, this was full, wow. And I organized it. See
wow.
that? He goes, $500.
Uh-huh.
Basically, I sold, but I may have played it off like, oh, you're thinking about it. But I was like, I don't even want to mess with it. $500 for a massive box, right? I'm talking old stuff too. I looked in it, and I'm looking at it, it's like, this is stuff from like the 80s and 90s.
Wow. Is it like Texas? Is it all Texas stuff?
All mainly DFW, a lot of unused. So I finally got to go through it. So you want to start with the small stuff? Or the big stuff?
Yeah, start with the small, work up.
All right, some little things that I found that I was like, oh, this is great. Little cool things. I'm like, all right, this is a good example. Like Herschel Walker debut, full ticket. That's the thing about this stash. It was all full tickets, right? Yeah. All full. Because basically this guy was a scalper, and everything he didn't sell, he would just throw in this bin.
Yeah.
Kept it for like 30 years and then sold it to me for like $500, right?
Wow.
The other one, been looking for this for a while. I actually put one of these up on eBay. It's the TO on the star.
Oh, yeah.
Celebration. Remember that? Kind of a goofy, fun one.
Was that a playoff game, or was that Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was just a random regular season game. He scored the TD and he went out to the star, and the second Emmett came out, and the next time George Teague blasted him. It was like, kind of a huge deal, especially in Dallas. Like, people love George Teague forever because of that. Other ones that I found, a lot of like All-Star Weekend, like here's some full All-Star Weekend, like nice, stuff like that. Like not really my thing, but I got plans. Other goofy ones like last night game at Comiskey, or last game at Comiskey. Here's a full Game 7 Western Conference Finals.
Wow.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
That's not Phantom, is it? That's not a Phantom ticket?
No, I think this was the Game 7 they played in the against the Mavericks. I think that's why he had it. I need to double check this, but I'm pretty sure, because there's so much stuff, and it was kind of a quick go through. Then like an old full Army Navy 1953 ticket.
Wow.
Right? So it gets better.
How do you think he scored that? Obviously, he wasn't a scalper at that game.
Yeah, I don't know. See, there's some random stuff. So then I found this. This is really interesting. So I'm looking at this. See what this is?
Yeah. I'm not familiar with the game, though.
So 92 Olympics basketball final. You know who that is?
Yeah, the Dream
Team, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy cow, this is a full ticket. This is insane. But when I started looking at it closer, you see down here, the 8. See how this 8's all goofy?
Yeah.
See how it looks different?
Yeah.
So basically what he did, or what somebody else did, is they scratched off the date of the 8th, and they bought women's basketball finals, which was on the 7th, and pasted an 8 and tried to use it to either sell it or get in the game as a counterfeit ticket. Because as you can tell down here, I did a bunch of research.
Interesting.
Kind of weird with. See, this is basketball BQ, the date 07, and then the third session. See how that?
Yeah.
But the game itself, see how they scratched off the 7 instead made it an 8.
Huh.
So that's how you know that. And I'm 99.9% sure this is fake because I have 4 other ones, and it's all the same thing. See how they mess with the dates?
Right. That's interesting.
Because I mean, if this wasn't legit, it'd be worth thousands of dollars each.
Yeah.
But they're all messed with like that.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. It's good to know too. When you're looking for tickets like that, and you come across that haven't been slabbed, or I wonder if maybe some got through even.
Yeah, they may have. I don't know. So this is what I've been looking for forever, and as a Mavericks fan, this is before my time. I can't believe this one is out there. The game was called Moody Madness. So basically their first playoff series in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
They had to move the game to the SMU Coliseum, Moody Arena or Moody Coliseum, which is still there. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like one of the most famous games in Mavericks history. And it's a full ticket. And it's just like, they talk about how it only had 9,000 fans and everybody couldn't get in the game. And it was the most exciting game, in history of the Mavericks. I was like, holy cow. I was like, it's a full ticket too. And it looks freaking pristine. But I found out there was a huge thunderstorm that night. So I think he was trying to scout these tickets and, not many people are showing up in a thunderstorm last minute.
Right.
All right. So you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
I think this is more up your alley. So I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to see if you can guess what it is.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I grabbed the wrong one. Hold on. That was game. Hold on. This is it right here.
This is I forget whose debut that is. Is it 84? Don't tell me. This isn't good. I know that people watching this. Tell me, who is it?
This is Hakeem Olajuwon's debut.
Right.
A full ticket.
That's what I was going to say, but 84? I thought he was.
That was Jordan.
No. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Wow.
His first game.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and I didn't know it either. And somebody was messaging about, hey, look for these tickets. And then I looked, and there's only one stub graded. That's it.
Yeah.
And there's that.
What's the attendance on the game? It's probably not that much.
I didn't look. It was their opener, so I assume it would be halfway decent. But
they probably, what was the seating capacity? Maybe 15,000?
Yeah, probably like 12 or 14 would be my guess. So my guess would be about, I don't know. I'd have to look. I guess it'd be like 10 or 11,000 would be my guess.
Yeah, so that for $500. I mean that's probably what, $4,000 to $5,000 ticket. Maybe?
Man, I would think at least. I kind of the Larry Bird debut. I know he's not Larry Bird. That went for. It was the only full that went for 70. Olajuwon's what, a fraction.
That's right. It's a full. It's a full. Okay. Full. So it's hard to say. It could be 50,000, 20,000.
So I'm gonna, probably send it to auction and see what happens. Because I'm not a huge, Olajuwon. I'm not a big debut guy. So I'm like, I always say if it's super rare, you gotta auction it. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Wow.
And the best part of the story, I talked to another guy who was at the show who talked to the guy who sold them to me after I bought them. And he told that guy, like, oh yeah, I saw all those ticket stubs I had, man. I ripped that guy off good too.
Well, it's really funny if is he like a dealer who sells tickets?
He was just an old scalper who's basically retired, who has a lot of old collectibles, some really cool stuff, like a lot of old masters
stuff. Yeah.
And he's basically selling all his stuff that he collected over the years and his old, ticket stubs and, whatever else he's accumulated.
Yeah.
Real nice guy.
It's interesting because it seems like in today's world, those people who don't know what they have are becoming increasingly rare, because tickets have made the news in a lot of cases.
Right. And I
Going
just
back
like,
to collections.
and a part of me was like, man, I feel like I took advantage of him a little bit, but then he thought he took advantage of me.
Yeah. So it's a moral dilemma. Like, you get into
I
it.
really didn't know what was in the box. I just knew there was a lot. And then I spent more, like, he had some graded ones and there were some other tickets in here, like a lot of all-star games, and Final Fours, stuff you would, go to scalp tickets, stuff like that.
Yeah. And those aren't huge, but $30, $40, $50 each probably.
Yeah, this was the nicer box that he charged me more for. There was some other graded stuff I bought, so I think the total was like another $2,500. But the buried treasure was in the ungraded. But it's a ton of tickets that was in the 500 box. It's a lot of like old Cowboys, like fulls from like the 80s, and old Rangers. I was hoping to find a Nolan like Ventura game, or I missed it by one day. He had the ticket before that day.
So did you go through them all? Have you gone through them all?
Yeah, I went through them all, and I've sent some guys like that were asking for Griffey home runs, stuff like that are super cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said, hey, I got a lot of 80s, 90s, Rangers, Cowboys, Mavericks. Anybody looking for anything random?
Yeah.
And then a lot of people posted on boogers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was like, I spent hours just messing with that the last few weeks.
Wow. That's, that's shocking that you found that at a card show,
Yeah, it's just
not in somebody's garage somewhere,
Right. And that he brought it. I think he said, oh yeah, somebody else was asking me about it, so I brought him. And I was like, well, I'll buy him from you right now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. That's a great story. That's worth it.
Fired up.
We can't do anything better than that now.
Yeah. It's like, I don't plan on that ever happening again.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know. I mean, that's part of the fun of collecting tickets, is that you can find things like that nobody really knows the value unless you're really into it, like us. Right. So, you can't really do that with cards, because with cards, it's so easy. One, everybody kind of knows. And two, it's really easy to find the information that you're looking for. You don't have to be an expert in it,
Right.
So that's great.
So what do you want to jump to next? You want to look at some sales? You want to look at upcoming?
Let's look at what some auctions.
All right. Let me click on this. So we'll see what I got pulled up first.
This is the golden auction that just finished, right?
So here's the heritage auction that just finished. Not a few weeks ago. The big one was the Kobe debut.
The full, yeah.
Full, yeah. The went for $75K, which I don't know. I mean, I guess that sounds about right. It was the only full.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a reflection of just the general theme of probably what we would be talking about in most of these sales, is that it's not continuing that same upward trajectory that we'd been seeing for the last,
right,
several months into last year, and it's kind of leveling off. And some tickets, if depending on what it is, it's going back down, and I think this is kind of one of those, because a couple of months ago we would have said, oh, this could be $150,000 ticket. It's a full ticket. How many full Kobe debuts are there out there? And I think
that what we've kind of seen with this heritage auction is things have basically kind of plateaued and kind of dipped. Like a Mantle debut, that even though it's pretty beat up, it went for $52,000, which is still an insane amount.
Yeah.
But I know I have one up here. Let me see if I can find it. That like this one is a 1.5, which is definitely nicer. But it went for $115,000 in February, which I think you would agree. I think that was kind of the peak of everything, was the January, February dates.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, so obviously a huge difference there. To me, the grade on those is the same. It's a 1.5 and a 1. They look about the same to me. I would.
Yeah, I don't know. Ones though can be just horrifically bad, and they'll still get a 1. I'll click on it again. And the 1.5s can be, they're 1.5, they're decent, but there's tons of like beat up down here. I don't know about the back's real beat up, so it's about as one gets.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that has something to do with it, but I think it's more of
the market correcting.
Right.
And especially with the next one there, the Jordan. The Jordan Red debut, PSA 1 goes for $51,600. And that's, I mean, how many red debuts were sold in the last few months?
I think a 3.
Yeah.
I know one that was a 2 that did look quite a bit nicer when you really looked at it. It went for like 110.
Yeah.
So I thought this would go for like 70.
Yeah.
But, this was also when the market was just taking a beating. I think people are really starting to get worried, like, well, what does the future hold now? Are we really going to go into this major market crash? And I think that the timing was terrible for the ending of this auction.
Yeah, I think the general sense I get from what I've seen is that the high end stuff that is like this is kind of come back down, but the mid range and the lower end that's actually rare has stayed pretty strong.
Yeah, like
that's my sense of where
even something like this, the game 1s have gone crazy, the 1919s, and this is just kind of a ripped part of the stub, and it went for 16,800, which is
and that was a $2,000 ticket a couple of years ago.
Right. Yes. The mid stuff. Kind of the Larry Bird debut, the little rip went for 8,000. That's kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
Funny story on this one too. So me and somebody else, I won't name the person's name. I freaking love this ticket. Didn't really show the ticket initially, but it's the Secretariat. And when we talk about, we don't know exactly what prices we're going to do, but we know what's super rare.
Yeah.
And I've only seen one other one of these and I own it. And I was like, well, I really like to own the other one because it's something they'll be talking about 100 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew the guy who was bidding on it was going to buy it no matter what.
Yeah.
So I messaged him and said, hey, I know he's bidding on this one too. And basically I said, if I'll stop bidding on the Belmont if you let me have the Preakness, because I don't own the Preakness and I've been trying to find one forever.
Right.
So he basically said, okay, uncle. And I stopped bidding on the Belmont and he stopped bidding on the Preakness. But now I have all 3 of them, which I'm pretty stoked about. And this one had the $2 bet ticket.
Nice.
So it was like, and it had auto program. So it was a little more than I wanted to spend, but it was something I really want. I'm into historical, and I was like, when these come around, they disappear forever. So like
one of the advantages of the ticket market being so small is that sometimes know who the other guy is. If you can team up with them, then it's beneficial for both of you.
Yeah, because some people you just know, like, I know this person's going all in.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to battle them.
Other ones that kind of surprised me is like this one went for like 3,800. I guess it was a 9. There's the Cubs, Game 7. Yeah. It was a 9, pretty high graded. I've been seeing a lot of these lately, but this is a really cool ticket too. The Tyson Holyfield Bite Your Ear Off went for 3,900 with autos. That was cool.
Yeah.
Were there anything you saw where you're like, oh, this is really interesting? Or
not in this one. I wasn't really paying attention to this auction that closely, honestly, because I've been, everything else is so crazy. But the golden one, so you're on that one, right?
Yeah. So this is the one that most recently ended.
And that one was, so there was a couple of interesting ones. One was right there, the Ichiro debut at $5,000.
Yeah, you're a Mariner. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't know if people realize how many of those are out there. This was right after the stadium opened, and people were saving everything from that was anything to do with Safeco Field,
Right.
and it was opening day, so everybody saved these tickets. There's so many of these out there. They might not be graded, but there's a lot of them out there.
Mhm.
So $5,000 just seems really high for that, and it's not even. It's just authentic. I don't know.
Yeah, this one kind of surprised me. The Jim Brown debut.
Yeah, same. It was a lot lower than what I expected. What did you think on it?
I thought it was going to go for like 15 or 20.
Yeah, that's kind of
going
what I
for
thought too.
7. This is a kind of where I was like, well, this will. I've seen these pop up a lot more. In full disclosure, I own one.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, for one that's got, punch marks in it and is authentic, and it went for 46. And I was like, personally, I'd like to see it go higher since I'm not going to buy one again. But I thought it was a decent price. But definitely, you've seen those kind of hit the market and pull back a little.
Yeah, and it's just like what we talked about at the beginning of the year when we kind of predicted that a lot of these higher end ones that there's a decent population of, you're going to see them hit the market like this one. Right. We've seen so many of them, but they're not that common.
I think there's 22, which actually surprises me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, 22, that's not very many. Right. I know it is, but it's a historic event. The population, the attendance was, I think, 4,000 something. So everybody who did witness it obviously would save their ticket probably on some level, maybe not for, years and years, but it would be something that people would keep as a memento. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a ton of them out there, in ticket terms.
Right.
But still, that's not that many, is considering how many we've seen for sale in the last few months, right? I don't know how many, but I feel like it's close to 10.
There's 2 more that are coming out on Leland's. Right. I think was it Leland's?
Yeah,
a 2 and a 1.
Right.
And it's like, this is kind of what we saw with the Jordan debuts. People got into these so cheap, and now they're all hitting the market. Yeah. And we'll probably see these go for, definitely a number that they're not what they would have gone for 3-4 months ago.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that with the Wilt 100, the Jordan debuts, and the Mantle debuts. All 3 of those, it's the same concept.
Right. People are just, man, get my money now. I don't know what the future holds.
Yeah. And so they'll all dry up. I mean, my prediction for going forward, they dry up and then you don't see them very often. So then they kind of recover in that same way because there's not that many to continue to see a supply on the market.
Right. One thing we like to touch upon is, we talked about these Pele debuts, and just like I said, when things aren't super rare and it, and they're going to hit the market. I mean, look at some of these numbers. I kind of pulled this up. A Pele debut on April 9th, pop 3 went for 39,000. A 1 in January went for 36.
Yeah.
Right. And now look what a 1 went for 6,300. A 1.5. See how much of it? I mean, it's just an insane dip because.
Yeah. It's it really helps to have a good understanding of the market, and if you're paying attention to it all the time, like you and I are, you see it all the time. And here's this Messi debut. Exact same thing.
I mean, look at this sale. I mean, are you not just?
Yeah.
If you sold this for 49,000 in February, and now, I mean, you could get that ticket today for probably a couple $1,000. I mean, that's fine. Here's a 5 that went for 870.
Yeah, and they're still coming. They're still hitting.
7. Here's the exact same ticket went for $1,300.
Yeah.
In April 30th.
And honestly, that's probably kind of high.
And the same ticket in February went for 49,000. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the classic example of just the market not knowing. Nobody really truly understanding where the market is.
Right. And I bought one when the pop report was like at $3,000.
Yeah.
I actually sold on Heritage and really well on it. But I had other ones I lost money on. But now look at the pop report. I mean, 88 stubs
Yeah.
and 80 fulls, which for tickets is stupid expense, or a ton for a ticket in the year 2003.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it's time for me to finally buy one. $200.
But I know, that's like a friendly, and the big soccer guys just, what, it's not the same. It's kind of like their version of a preseason game. I think that maybe has something to do with it.
Yeah. I feel the same way about that. It's kind of like that Michael Jordan preseason game that everybody thinks was his first baseball game when it really wasn't. The one in Chicago.
Right. Yeah. I don't, it's just that ticket's not my thing. Let me see some other golden stuff. I know I pulled some things coming up. Let's take a look. We talked about the Jordan debuts. They've definitely taken a little bit of a hit. But what we got next? Auctions coming up. Some golden.
Well, the one I wanted to touch on, well, there's two, Leland's and SCP. I think that those are like, Leland's has some really interesting tickets in it.
Like the full mantle debut. People have been into that. Not my thing.
Well, that's his
World Series debut.
Is it a World Series debut? Yeah. Okay. That's
a full Thrillin' Manila. That should probably get really expensive.
Yeah.
What other tickets?
Lots of boxing, and lots of kind of alternative, lesser known sports.
Yeah, the that Glory Road, the all black starting 5, semifinal and final. I'm sure they got, Leland's has really got. I would put them ahead of Golden right now if you're going to sell your stuff
for tickets. Wow, that's
Golden, I feel like Leland's takes more high quality, and Golden you get thrown in there with a bunch of junk, and sometimes your stuff can kind of get buried. And I think that's kind of what happened to that Jim Brown ticket.
Well, it seems like right around when sports cards were just crazy, Golden made the decision to start doing like monthly auctions instead. Right. The quarterly auctions or the every few months auctions that most of them do. And so their stuff is just really, really repetitive. It's just all kind of the same boring thing, and you lose interest in it. But I've always liked Leland's because they've always had a lot of vintage baseball, and it's always you can sometimes find things that you never see before. And in this, so there's 2 flying goal, Bobby Orr flying goal tickets in this one. And that's one I have, and I really like that ticket. I would probably be bidding on one of them if I didn't already have one, but there's 2 in this auction, and you don't see that one come up very often.
Right. Didn't the full go for like 30,000-40,000?
Yeah.
A while back?
I forget where, but yeah, that was. And then there was, of course, the 2 Wilt 100 tickets that we talked about already in this one.
Yeah, I mean, they got some monster stuff in this auction.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. You have anything up for auction now?
No, I think that Olajuwon, when I get it back, I'm going to get it to PSA and then send that and some other stuff to Heritage.
Yeah,
I like using them because they're good and they're right down the street. They're in Dallas.
Yeah, so you can just take it there. That's an advantage. I'm always fearful of sending stuff in the mail that's high value.
So the Golden, let's look at what they got coming up. I know one thing I thought was pretty funny. I'll type it in. It's just so ridiculous. Like the Pele debuts, the Messi debuts have got to stop. Look, five Pele debuts.
Yeah.
5 Pele debuts. And let's count the Messi debuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Messi debuts for auction on the same auction. That's what I'm talking about with Golden. Like, just stop. Like, seriously. Tell people no. Like,
but it's interesting because with cards, or at least most auction houses will say, well, we already have a few of these coming up, so let's hold it off.
Right.
Auction, whatever. But they're not doing that with tickets. I don't know if they don't realize that it's the same dynamic, if not worse. It's actually way worse.
I mean, what these are going to go for? Like, remember we said a 7 went for 48,000. Here's another 7. This will probably go for like 800.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll get in on it.
Get you on bottom basement prices. Let's see. Let's take a look. See what they got coming up other than 500 Messi and Pele debuts. All right. Yeah, I've seen a lot of Brady's. I have one of these, the Bulls first run, their first championship. It's already at 38.50. I don't have this game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I don't see pop up very often. And if you're a Jordan collector, I'm sure you're going to be very interested in that ticket if you don't have it, his first title. Brady debuts, these are starting to pop up a lot. I can see them taking a little bit of a hit.
Yeah. There's 2 in this auction, isn't there? Or was it just
I know at least one. Ohtani debuts, I've seen those.
Yeah, there's another Brady. You just passed another Brady.
Yeah.
So there's 2 in that one. But that what was the auction where the shot heard around the world was before this? Because they have one in this auction too.
Yeah, and it went for like 12,000. I think it was in the Hunt auction.
Right.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was a Hunt auction. And so that's an interesting one to kind of test, because it's not something that you see every day. Those ones are pretty rare, and to test the difference between Hunt and Golden.
Right. Because you would think if you had, anything comparable, it would be, within 80% of what the other one went for.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll see, because this one and grade really doesn't matter that much. Well, at least to me, I guess that's just my opinion, not in general. But it looks good. It's got a good eye appeal.
Yeah, and I guess the top grades always are gonna command a premium.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good stuff. You just gotta filter. There's 166 tickets, and it's just going through and finding the ones you think are interesting.
Yeah, I looked through all those, and I didn't really see anything that other than the shot heard around the world. But Golden doesn't have a lot of baseball, and that's my thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious to see what that goes for, since it is very like I said, they don't have a lot of baseball, and
it's not really. It seems like it should be in a Leland's auction or a REA auction or something.
Yeah, and that's maybe something that people could get that at a discount.
Yeah.
The other one we were talking about, SCP, right?
Yeah. That's the interesting one. So they have lots of tickets. Some are just bizarrely priced in terms of like what the minimum bid is. That I always wonder how they determine these minimum bids, because some of these I'm looking at the August 14th, 1997 Ripken Lights Out game, basically, right. And the minimum bid's $500. I don't know if you know the story behind this, but there's a rumor that Ripken had some issue with, there's some gossip or something about it, but I won't go into the details of it, but Ripken didn't want to play. And so instead of breaking the streak, they just made up the lights. Randomly, the lights
the lights didn't work
working that day. Yeah. And so they didn't play because Ripken was so upset because of some issue. So that's the rumor. And so ticket to that game, minimum bid $500, which is not a particularly rare ticket. It's just a 1997 Baltimore Orioles ticket. So I don't know. I think it's about a $200 ticket, but the minimum bid $500.
Mm-hmm.
Confusing sometimes.
Yeah, and it's also we're talking about why are we on this auction? Well, I got to actually find the biggest ticket on here, and it's buried in the bottom. If I search ticket, this is where it's at. The last one. Like,
I know that was the thing when I was looking through it. Whenever I get the email that a new auction is out, I click on it, type in tickets, and scroll through everything. The last one, it's not called out or anything, and it doesn't seem like it's in much of their advertising. I definitely didn't see anything about it on social media or anything. And this is a big deal. This is the biggest ticket that's for sale right now.
Right.
That exists.
Really nice. I mean, I guess they have a little mention about the scrapbook, but I mean, does that really? It's the back part, and it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. It's old ticket. It's gonna have some. I guess there's the scrapbook part right there.
To a lot of people, and I didn't even know this about this one. I knew of this one before. It's on my list of the 11 that I'm aware of. But it's attached to a scrapbook page, and that is a big turnoff to some people. You can't even see the back of it, but I wonder if it could be removed because, there's professionals that can remove these things, and I've actually removed scrapbook page, and I have an example of one right here.
Right.
This ticket I removed. It was the exact same thing. There was an entire page on the back, and I removed it, and I consulted with like a historic preservationist first to find out how to do it the right way. And I did it myself, and there's a certain process to it, and you don't use any kind of agent or anything. You just basically scrape away the paper as if it was dirt. You just slowly scrape it away, fiber by fiber. And if it's an old piece of paper, like let's say it was posted into some scrapbook in 1947, the paper has already degraded some, so it's pretty easy to break it up and to slowly scrape it away off of the actual ticket. And then you get to the glue, and the glue is, if you apply a little bit of water, then the glue kind of gets gooey again, and then you can scrape that away also. And so it's a long, slow process, but it can be done. And I wonder why it wasn't done, or if it could be done if somebody purchased it. But then you're going to end up having to crack it out and pay another $50.
Doesn't it look like it's already been, basically taking I mean, they can't do any better than that, can they?
Well, they could get it off the back because there's
but I thought it looks like they already got it off. You think they could get more of that off?
So I would have to examine it in person, but it looks like that the page is still on it. That there's an additional strip of paper that's on the back of it. And because a normal ticket has like writing and stuff on it. It has all the terms and conditions.
Oh yeah. Does the one, I guess ours would, does the ones we have, I guess I come to think of it, does it have writing and stuff all on the back? I assume it does, right?
Yeah. It has like terms and conditions and all of the, by the acceptance and the use of this ticket, blah, blah, blah. And so this is actually a page of paper that's still or glued to the actual ticket, and you can remove that. And unless it was, if it was removed, then I think it would be a lot more appealing. It wouldn't affect the grade. The technical grade is still going to be really poor because it still has glue residue and glue sticking and stuff on it, but it would just look a lot better. And I think that it could probably be done with that ticket.
It's going to be interesting because the front looks so good, but then the back, but it's like nobody ever, people only care about the front.
Yeah. To me, I think it's having a scrapbook back is right up there with the least desirable aspects of a ticket that's in bad condition.
Right. I guess other than some frontage missing.
Yeah. Like paper loss on the front, that's probably one of the biggest for me. Obviously wrinkle or a big piece of it missing or something like that. But it's a great looking ticket for sure.
I was gonna say, like, there's no real creases in it. Like, the one I have has a crease and like a staple hole.
Yeah.
And I don't think it looks as good as the front, but like I said, it doesn't have the scrapbook on the back. So it'll be interesting to see what.
Yeah. So when you look at it that closely, you can kind of see the extra page behind it if you look closely on the edge of it on the front.
Mhm.
On the other side. Yeah. So you zoom in, you can see how there's like a double layer
Right.
edge.
Right.
It looks like somebody just cut along
right here.
so that it's even.
Interesting.
But it probably could be removed. Assuming, it depends on the era, but those
right. Yeah, you can definitely see the back right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still people aren't really afraid. It's at 120. So that's before.
Yeah, it's interesting because remember when the last one sold, I think I made the comment that I bet that this wouldn't be the last one we see this year because whoever owned this one, I know that it was sold in 2009 for $5,000, but otherwise I don't know if it had been sold privately at all.
Another thing that bothers me about listings when they say, "Oh, all right, pop 5, only 3 higher." Like you shouldn't be popping whatever if it's authentic, a 1 or 2. It should be a pop of everything, not just the pop. But a lot of the auction houses do that. You see that around. It's like it's kind of
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we could do a whole series on how to read a pop report because people get it wrong all the time. It's interesting, including auction houses.
Yeah, it's like it's not really pop 5. There's I think 10 total, but maybe there's 5 authentic. So
another interesting note on this one is that it's one of 4 consecutive seats. So there's 11 Jackie Robinson debuts that I'm aware of. I'm sure there's others out there. So I hate to say that there's only 11, but there's 4 consecutive of those 11, and it goes from 7 to 10. And mine is number 10. So mine's part of that. So it was probably like a family of 4 or something, a group of 4 people that went to a game, and they happened to save all 4 of them.
Huh.
So they're all there. Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been having this Willie Mays one, the catch, and I think I bought it on eBay a long time ago. I may have showed it before, but it has the whole.
Oh, yeah. So is that paper loss or is that added paper?
That's added paper.
Oh, we can get that off. That's easy.
When I fly up to Seattle, you'll take your time and get your.
Well, I can just describe it. I can give you the process, and then you can do it yourself. Or you could do it pretty easily. It's not.
Yeah, I'll have to maybe YouTube a video or something.
Yeah. I should do a video on it, and then it can go viral. But
other thing I have is the PSA. So what's going on with PSA prices on tickets, getting them graded?
Yeah, so it seemed like they were jumping around in prices, and everybody was complaining, and all of a sudden the lowest price was $300, and then everybody was complaining, and Darren Ravel tweeted about it, and it seems like it's gone all over the place, but now it's $50 for economy, which is what it was before. The only difference is that you have to be a member. You have to be a PSA club member, which the old days, if you remember, I don't know if you do, but back in the day, you used to have to be a member just to submit to PSA. So it's kind of like that. If you want to get the best price, then you have to be a member. To me, it seems like, okay, they're probably trying to slow down the flow, but they're also trying to add value to their membership program.
Right.
This is my opinion. I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like their membership program really had no value because you couldn't submit anything, and if you did, it cost a ridiculous amount. And so this is a way to kind of reorganize things a little bit so that the membership has value to encourage people to become members, I guess. I'm a member, so it doesn't really affect me. It's the same, just $50, but I haven't submitted anything. I do need to submit some, though.
Yeah, I be curious to see if they end up going higher. I guess if they get overwhelmed, it makes sense to up the price to slow the process down. It seems like right now, what are we looking at? Like about a 3-month for economy.
Yeah.
And I still have a 25 set of tickets I sent back almost over a year ago. I still haven't gotten back. That was on the $15 price.
Yeah. What's interesting to this, and I didn't even notice what you're showing there, is that the premium levels, because above 250,000 is $10,000 to submit your ticket.
It is crazy.
You're going to pay
$10,000. It literally would take them 5 minutes to if you send in a Jackie or something, 5 minutes, and they're going to charge you 10 G's.
So, but just the $250,000 ticket, other than say a full Jordan debut or something, the Jackie Robinson debut is really the only one that falls in that category, right?
Right, and I've noticed that they've been pretty lenient on, if you send in a ticket, it better be way overvalued than what you put for them to actually charge you. Because I've sent some stuff and I was like, this is probably more than I put.
Yeah.
And they didn't come back and overcharge me.
Same here. But at what point do they do, and how do they even know? How do they, because the market is changing so fast, and you can't just take one auction sale as what something's worth.
Right. It's not like cards where it's pretty well known, like, PSA 10 silver is
right, and exactly where it falls. But there's no ticket other than a Jackie Robinson debut that's in decent condition that you could confidently say is worth more than $250,000. So $10,000. So basically,
that's also the thing. Mine's in a Beckett graded authentic, and if I ever were to sell it, I probably would want it in PSA, right?
Yeah. So it kind of that you're the only guy. You're the only person that it affects. But
Lord.
So between 100,000 and 250,000, it's $5,000
right
per ticket
for 5 minutes of work.
That's a lot more than it used to be. So they really raised these, because it used to be $1,500 across the board on all the premium, all of the super premium, whatever. But this is the first time I'm noticing this. That
you think they'll ever they'll go back and lower prices, or you think in the next 2 or 3 years it's always going to be 50 minimum?
I think that with tickets specifically, I think they'll have to lower prices if they want to continue to have business, because at some point we're going to go back to the days of, tickets being kind of a niche collectible, that there's a lot of people who do it, but they're not really a whole, really gung-ho about getting them graded. The people who are overwhelming PSA right now with grading tickets are the ones who are trying to make money off them, right? And once that population goes away, when the market corrects the way that it should be, then they're not going to have the same business that they have now. So, people aren't going to pay $50 to get random tickets graded. They'll go back. It'll get lower. I don't think it'll go down to 15 or 20 where it used to be, but it'll definitely, become more reasonable.
Maybe like 25, 35, I think.
Alternatively, another company should come out with, slabbing tickets. It seems like all these fly-by-night card grading companies that are just pop up out of nowhere. If one of them decided to do tickets, I bet it would be pretty popular, and you wouldn't have to worry about.
Like a SGC did, or I think SGC would be like an ideal.
Well, SGC used to, but they stopped, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just.
And they're they're kind of known as the vintage guys for cards. They get a lot of respect for their vintage grading.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge with a third-party company jumping in would be the signed tickets, the autograph tickets, because you actually need experts for that. You can't just slab it and send it out because.
Oh yeah, I got it. Before we don't kind of running out of time. I got Griffey did that big signing.
Oh, you got some back?
Yeah, and I got to get Edgar's autograph. That game.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah. Did you request that he leaves enough room for it, because he?
Yeah, that's the corner.
I
put it so Edgar can sign the other corner.
Yeah,
I'm excited about. But then they didn't follow on this one, so they're gonna have to try to make it fit on the bottom, I guess.
Oh yeah, he'll fit on the bottom.
But then the whole, I was like, you know what? I didn't even notice this, but I kind of wish they didn't put it on. That's kind of been debate, the whole sticker auto.
Yeah.
I kind of am okay with it because it's on the back, but I think going forward, I prefer them not. But I know talking to a big time collector, he really values the in-person sticker on the back of the collectible item.
Yeah, I think that it's a good idea too. I don't think that it affects who knows what it affects with PSA, but it confirms that not only PSA, if you get it graded,
Right.
not only PSA agreed, but also another third party agreed that it's authentic.
It's 100% legit.
Yeah, it's a no brainer on that one. So I think I would get the sticker. I don't think that's as long as it's on the back.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely different people pretty opinionated on that. I traded for these a while back with some cash. That's the Magic Baby Hook.
Yeah.
And you can't really see, but they kind of have a crease in one of them, and the other one's not as okay. I was like, man, it'd be really cool to get these autoed. And I saw somebody that autoed them on the top. I don't really would not want to do it on the logo. So it's that whole, do you get it signed? Do you not get it signed? If I'm going to sell it, I should probably get it signed. If I keep it, I may not, that whole thing.
Yeah. And where do you get it signed and what kind of pen do you use and all of that? Yeah. Yeah. That's so cool. A lot to go over. Wow.
Yeah. You got any other things or things you want to touch on, things you want to show?
I think we covered it. I know we talked about this before. I asked you before. Are you going to the National?
Planning on it. I know I got a big family in-law where I work this golf car rental thing every year, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. That's why I haven't really pulled the trigger 100%. I kind of feel obligated to do it, but I don't because it's kind of the same weekend.
Well, it's coming up. You better start booking your hotel.
I know. And I'm in with some crappy hotel where I'm, and flights are going to be ridiculously stupid, but I really want to go. But I don't really want to go for 4 days. What days are you going?
I'm going from, I think I'm getting in Wednesday and then leaving Saturday.
Yeah, I think that's the best because, Wednesday you have first look at everything.
Yeah.
Wednesday night. And then by the time Sunday rolls around, people are out of there on Sunday.
Yeah. It's like even Saturday was kind of just nothing compared to Thursday and Friday.
Right.
As, just no energy. they blew it all. But
that's a long time. I have a guy that's gonna let me share a table, but then I have some card. That's this whole my card guys. Oh, we didn't get our table. Can we have some space? But I can't do those card shows and stay there for 8 hours a day, 4 days, 3 or 4 days in a row. There's no way. Like they do the Dallas card show, and I'll maybe go for a day or two max and set up for most of the day. And that's all I can handle. I got to be outside or doing something. I can't get cooped up.
Yeah. Especially when it's summertime and it's nice weather and you go out there and you realize you've been inside all day and your feet hurt and it's
a lot of indoor time with just standing there doing.
Yeah. For me, the National is 2 days is good. I actually going to the show one full day is kind of all I need. But I like to see everybody. I like to hang out with people that I kind of know online or
I like the full days. The about 2 or 3 days. I like 2 full days is about. I know one year went to like the Cubs game.
Yeah.
Didn't go. It was kind of like went one day, went to a Cubs game the next day. Went one day, half day, went to a White Sox game. That's always kind of fun to take advantage of what's in the area.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is Atlantic City, so not much other than
train to New York or Philly. They're not too far.
Yeah, that's the challenge also is where do you fly into and then how do you get down there? I'm flying into New York and then
how are you?
I'm meeting a friend and we're going to rent a car and drive down. I think that's because Philadelphia is closer, but the flights are harder to get the ones you want and they're more expensive. So but New York, you can fly in any time pretty much because there's so many flights.
Right.
It's a little longer drive, but there's more to do in New York.
I say definitely go. Anybody who's going to the National, try to get there Wednesday, the first day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Probably takes a good 2 days to see everything and take advantage of the area if you can. If maybe the Phillies or the Yankees or Mets are playing. You haven't seen them. Go freaking train ride. Go see them.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Atlantic City in quite a while. I don't really have great thoughts about it being there, but we'll see.
Yeah. I've never been there, but I haven't heard anything good about it.
I'd like to bring it to Dallas one year. I think that it's a little too far for a lot of the East Coasters, but maybe Atlanta is as far west as they would go. Atlanta, Chicago is kind of what it seems like.
Yeah, it seems like there's you have to rent a van and drive basically for a lot of these.
Yeah, I think that's why they're big on keeping it in that part of the country because everything's so close to each other.
Try to keep it as close as possible, so it's not good for me, but it probably attracts the most people too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right, I think we covered quite a bit.
Yeah. Let's try to pin down. Let's try to get a guest for the next time.
Hopefully, sometime next week. I think our schedules will be a little more open. I've been really busy too.
Yeah. I should start becoming more available.
I think there's some good auctions that end on Saturday, Sunday.
Well, yeah, that Jackie Robinson, that's a 5. I think it has 5 days left in it. So
right, a lot of the golden auction ends on Sunday. So I think next week will be a good day good time to look at some stuff.
Yep, no question.
All right, man. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, so hopefully next week.
See you then.
All right, see you then.